Welcome to October 2021. My name is Jenessee Roy, and you have come across the Pick Your Path, red or blue, for this month. So stick with me and I'll tell you what the monthly energy is all about, and then we'll get real conscious together and choose what path you're going to be walking for this October. Wow. Oh my gosh. Headliner news. This October is insane. It started with a bang. I always know that we are in a retrograde cycle from hell when I start getting text messages from my members, my family, my friends, people close to me that are saying, WTF is happening. Oh my God, this energy is insane. What are you experiencing? So if you had that kind of a start to this October, but really in the end of September, it all ushered in, then you are right in the right place. Because yes, my friends, we are in a massive slowdown. The end of September coming into October is the kick our ass moment of the year. This is what astrologers and intuitives and psychics have been prophesizing for all of 2021. We saw it hit with the stock market. We see it hitting with some crazy health news, in the public perception and what's happening there. We see it transitioning everywhere. The fear-based programs, the slowdown, the shutdown, the oh my gosh, everything coming to a screeching halt is happening. It's real, and it's here to kick our ass and wake us up yet again. So let's get started with where we're coming from for this year and anchor into the yearly energy of 2021, and then get very expressively connected to October, and then we'll start to look at the Pick Your Path. So if you have not done this with me before, what we do is we take a look at our chakra system to basically look at and interpret what the collective energies are that we're all being kind of popped into this month. And so this Pick Your Path is all about getting really conscious about where you've come from, what you've been experiencing, because our chakra system helps us align to the physical plane of experience, basically the mental, the emotional, and then our actions, what we think, what we feel, and how we choose to act and live in this reality. And so based off of what we're thinking, feeling, and how we're choosing to act, that creates this energetic auric field, this energy, this reality that then we're connected to and that we get to live in. Our consciousness gets to live in and create stories around. And so what we do is we take a look at everything that we were experiencing from not just last month, but from this entire year, because we anchor into the yearly energy, the change energy that's been 2021. And we look at that to really see who we've been, what we've been going through, because everything we've been thinking, feeling, and acting on that's gotten us up to this point is basically creating and aligning all of the energy that's going to then continue to perpetuate our reality moving forward. So we, of course, all do this as individuals. We all have our own unique lens in how we're seeing our reality in amongst this greater unity consciousness. But then we also have a unity experience. We have a very collective experience. And so the collective experience is anchored by this linear timeline that we're all connected to, right? Each month, each day, each year, we're all kind of connected and presumably moving forward in the same kind of linear way. And so that really connects this numerology based around the year, the month, the day, the cycles, the astrology. It's the bigger patterns that our collective agrees to move through. And that's how we can read in a really big way a group of people. And then uniquely, we are each having our own experience within that macrocosm of existence. And so that's how I do what I do here. I then look at all of your chakras and pull through based off of what you're anchoring into and what your life experience has been. We then look at what could potentially happen for you moving forward and how you can get very clear on the energy and the patterns that you've been experiencing to make the most conscious choices in this, again, collective energy that we're all moving forward into. And so the goal of this, the goal of this entire red, blue path, pick your path, is just to get you really conscious on these collective energies so that you can clear everything else and get really laser focused on mastering this aspect that's coming up, anchored into this linear timeline, this exact moment, this exact breath, this exact day, to then help you clear yourself, get very clear on who you are, what you're perpetuating, and what you're going to experience moving forward. So if that all sounds good to you, stick with me and we'll get you very clear on what your individual experience is going to be within all of this moving forward. But what I want to do right now is take a little bit of a look into the past, and this should feel like a repeat. I've been probably talking about this the last 3 months, from actually probably June, because June, July was our big retrograde cycle that we experienced before this September, October retrograde cycle. And it's been a warning, right? We started this month, not this month, but we started this year in January, and we were popped into this huge transformational change year, right? Coming out of 2020, we were all kicked in the butts to really go through a self-actualizing process to figure out who am I, and what do I want to carry forward, right? What is my new normal? And sorry for perpetuating that, reality, but still, what is the new that I am bringing forward? And so as we all were kind of birthed into this new self in January 2021, we then went into our first retrograde, and we had this big retrograde cycle that was going to perpetuate through the entire year to make sure that we were really who we say we are. We're ready to be who we think we are. We're ready to fully embody this new energy, this everything we've been kind of restructuring and bringing to the forefront of our life, right? And so January was this first kind of, as we were all popped into January, it was, the world was opening up, everything was opening back up, but then we got this slowdown to make sure, okay, is who you are in alignment to what you're now acting impulsively with and moving forward with in this new year. And then we were asked to change ourselves, change our location, change our career, change our relationships, change all of these things that we had recognized were stagnant and not helping the true, authentic us from the past. So that was our first kind of kick into the change cycle right in the beginning of 2021. Then we got to live it, play with it, experience ourselves within it. And then we got to the June, July retrograde cycle. And now this was a big Mac Daddy. It was a little bit of a getting pushed off the path, losing your way, right? It was this, you know who you are, and so it was a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde moment where old patterns, old insecurities, old identity things were coming up, making you question, making you contemplate. A lot of us were getting a lot of new offers, new opportunities, new things coming in, and then we had to weigh the scales. Is this new me? Is this old me? And there was a lot of that Jekyll and Hyde playing and showing itself for us to make us question, is this really who I am? Is this really what I want to be? And we had to make some split-second decisions to align to a path that then we didn't know if that was our highest, truest path moving forward. So it was a lot of trust in our instincts, a lot of trust in the decisions we were making to get us aligned, hopefully, to this October retrograde cycle. Now, as I've been prophesizing, as so many astrologers have been predicting, and other sensitives and intuitives, energy healers, all these people who are, this is all of you out there who would even try and watch this, we were predicting this massive shift cycle coming in for September, October, for this full moon and retrograde cycle. And so as we stepped into this, one of the things I kept saying to people when I do one-on-ones or some of the group readings that I do with our membership community, I said, be prepared, because we, the sensitives, the ones who weren't so affected by the fear-based programming and the lack of mentality of the 2020, the COVID, all of that. All of us who escaped all of the denser energies, the things that were pulling a lot of our collective into these fear and anger and, you know, just the denser energies that are included within that. We escaped all of that, right? We could stay higher vibrational. We could stay in the positive ranges. And I've been telling people, I said, September, October is going to come, and all of us who skated by and have not been sucked into this density, I'm like, we're not going to be able to escape this one. We are all going to suffer from this retrograde cycle that is September, October. And if you have not been sucked into the depravity, the density, the negativity, then just trust that you're one of these people who learned all your lessons in the June-July cycle. So those of us who still did not heal, did not fully commit, did not fully, align to that complete authentic core, June and July in that retrograde, we're getting our asses kicked here in October, because this is the last chance. It's like, this is your absolute last chance. And again, we say that jokingly, right? There's never a last chance, but it's the last chance of this quantum now moment where you can then, secure all pathways moving forward. So it's your last chance for October 2021 to do it. But of course, there's always multiple opportunities. But this is a huge, monumental shift, really, to get you clicked in at this final level. And I'll give you a little bit of an experience of what I went through right in the shift of September to October. Again, I choose to live extremely connected to the collective imprint. I let go of my identity to experience what the mass of unity consciousness is experiencing. So I am always at the whim of whatever our beautiful world energy is. And so I know that this is what was shifting come September and October. Right at the full moon, there was such an illumination, which was just, I think, September 20th or something, 22nd, somewhere around there. So there was such a highlight, illumination. There was such an impact with this being able to see clearly, knowing what it was, knowing what we've been working towards, knowing or understanding a bit more of this, the internalized process that we've been going through. There was clarity that came in. There was a reveal, right? There was a big kind of pop moment. Yet what that did, as soon as we achieved that, and I always say this is the top of the mountain moment. And remember, September was all about grand completions, big finishing, right? And so as we got to the very top of the mountain, had this illuminated moment, wherever that was highlighted within your life, it's got to be something very connected to your human journey, whether it was about you specifically, a relationship, a project, a friendship, something about the family, the health, the finances, the career, something very human, right? Something about the human path that's keeping you moving forward, that makes you feel like you're on the journey to experience and explore. So as soon as we got to that top of the mountain, right, the apex of the full moon energy, we had this awareness, this bigger concept or understanding come through. And then a lot of times when we get to the top of the mountain, we're allowed to stay there and relish in that and experience that elated, that effervescent, that illuminated reflection. We're allowed to be there. But what happened was then as soon as we got that, we went into the retrograde. We went into the shadow of the retrograde cycle. And we don't just have our Mercury in retrograde. We've got shoot me astrologers, sorry, like 6 or 7 planets in retrograde. So it's like our entire journey has come to a screeching halt. And so as soon as we got to the top of that mountain and we witnessed and we realized, then divine just kicked us in the butt and sent us all the way down to the base of another mountain that's 10 times bigger. And now we're all staring up at this mountain and going, wait a minute, like I have to do what? I have to climb what? I have to figure out what again? And so it's it's this huge, monumental, just, it's like staring at the face of something that it's just so big. And I'm getting a little off track here, but it's as if you've been in this position of complete awareness and then instantaneously been sent to the starting line again. It's like the finish line, and now you got to go run that 20-mile race again immediately. No recoup, no integration, no time to rest, just now back at the beginning of a new journey. And so this to me is a rebirthing. This to me is the phoenix moment. This to me is the master transformer or the alchemy moment, where, you know, we know who we are, and then here we go, and we've got to let go of everything again because we clicked into that wisdom of who we are, and now we've got to let it all go and try yet again. And so it's like, okay, you did it, now let's do it again. And it's just, this is just the mind-boggling, you know, again, nobody's escaping. We're all, it feels like, living this same kind of pattern energy, to make sure that it is fully ingrained within our DNA, like everything. We're being asked to do it again to make sure. It's like you got a 90 on the test last time, now you got to get 100%, right? And this is like another initiation into that level of you. And so my experience with this was something around one of the truest words that I would call myself in this human. I've got many, many, many labels that people call me that I would align to in different moments in time. But again, labels are very limiting. And so the one label that I can completely identify with almost all the time is a shapeshifter, right? And I am not a physical form. I am whatever universe needs me to be. So I'm a constant shapeshifter in this reality, in this matrix. And so that is something that I've been struggling with, the understanding of what that means in the most minute level, and how to live that in a human way and in a divine way, in a God way, in a unity way, in every level and layer. And so I keep getting challenged with this same thing over and over. And so again, as I say, we enter into the September-October retrograde cycle, the September that kicked us into October. It's this understanding that aspect of you that's been clawing its way out and fighting to keep its head above water, and knowing the truth within you, and then having to constantly understand that truth at the next level, the next deeper level, the next clearer level, the next more integrated level. And it's like, you know, it's like you keep getting challenged and all the resistance around it, but this is the thing that keeps fighting to the surface. And so it's like again, all the re's for the retrogrades. It's the rewind, review, redo, reunite. It's all of these, any kind of re-energy that you could be experiencing right now. The review, the rewind, the renew, the reunification, all of these things to make sure that, again, at that deepest, most connected level, that you are who you are, and what you've been walking and the journey that you've been experiencing is in complete alignment to all of these facets of what's going to keep you moving forward. So the fact now that we're here in this phase in October is one of the most beautiful programming months, and I truly do love this energy around all of this retrograde that's happening, because October being a programming month, you know, there's a lot of potential in a retrograde to, again, slow down so much that you feel like you're losing your way, that you feel like you're off the path, that you feel like you've stopped your journey, right? That you feel like the progression forward has halted and you're lost. And so the programming of this October offers us the ability to constantly so a program like a computer program, right? If we can program into the computer a certain set of commands, that computer will constantly perform those commands every time you go into that program, right? And so basically this is what we can do for ourselves here, knowing that we're in this kind of slow down integration time. If we continue to program ourselves at that highest level, and it's going to take this is setting up the internal alignment to the highest frequency, to the highest intention, to the positive aspects, instead of getting so slow and stuck in some of the slower, denser, negative feelings that could definitely come up as you have to review all of this work again, as you have to restart the race from the very base level and run the race in a new way to understand even more of the you that you've been working on for so long now. And so as this programming month comes in, it's a really great opportunity to just say, each and every day, I need to make sure that I am keeping myself programmed in the higher energies and not getting it's an unconscious way of living, right? If you're programming, you're intending, you're making sure that you're staying up here. If you're unconscious and just a victim of your circumstances, or just allowing the reality around you to kind of dictate what you experience, then you can get sucked into some of the denser energies, the slower energies, and it'll make you question, and it'll bring in confusion. And so a good programming thing would be internal mantras, right? Or stating affirmations for yourself, doing love notes to yourself on your bathroom mirror or on your shower door, making sure that you are every day bringing in words of affirmation or love or inspiration or motivation, things that keep you high vibrational, instead of just being swept away in the currents of the retrograde and having to run this race on empty, and feeling like there's no motivation, no inspiration, things are breaking down, things are going wrong, and then getting lost in that confusion of the cycle that is this retrograde phase. So I encourage you this month of October to really get in the habit of, again, writing yourself the notes or speaking words of love and mantras and inspiration, because that will keep you in the vein of being able to keep your head above water as we, again, walk through this last cycle of truly locking into place the highest and most aligned truth of ourselves, so that we can end the year and go into 2022, which is going to be one of the most magical foundational years to build the reality around the truth of you that you've brought out and exposed to the world this year, right? Or not exposed to the world this year, although that is the case. It's more of like trusted, right? Walked with and had enough experiences with your authentic self that now you're ready to fully live in that, undoubtedly, no questions asked, like full-fledged, for 2022 and beyond. So that's where we are. And now what we're going to do is we're going to review the red and blue path. And so for those of you who have not been with me before, I use the 78 card chakra oracle deck, which is my oracle deck that basically highlights and understands the multidimensional chakra system, which is us as three-dimensional beings living in the physical plane, the emotional plane, and the mental plane. And then what happens is through that, all of our chakra systems connect into that web, into that grid system, the X, Y, and Z axis that create our three-dimensional reality. And so all of our 7 chakras connect into this grid system, and then each chakra will meet each chakra at all these different energetic nodal points within our auric field. And what that does is it creates 78 points of awareness that every human being will experience and have, basically these conscious storylines that they play out in their reality to understand all of this non-physical energy that they're actually thinking, feeling, and then engaging with daily. So what we do is we look at the cards, and I pick 4 cards for the red path, I pick 4 cards for the blue path, path, again, because we're all a collective here experiencing this energy of 2021, which is all about the big change to understand and lock into ourselves. October, which is about now programming ourselves so that we can stay authentic and in alignment to ourselves as we're, again, reviewing at this new, deeper level who we are at this even more stripped back core. And so as we walk through this energy of October, now we get to see what specifically we're going to be mastering and then working within this month. And so what I'm going to have you do is pick either the red or the blue path, and we're going to pick the red or the blue path based off of what kind of energies you were experiencing in your field last month. And so I want you to get really clear. Take a nice deep inhale and full complete exhale. Open out through the mouth, grounding all your energy, coming back into this moment, coming very clearly back into the space here now. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on who you were and what kind of experiences you were having in September, because September was this big grand completion month. For the majority of beginning of September all the way almost to the end of September, it should have been a great month. It should have been a pretty easy month, give or take human stuff. But it should have been a month where there was big reveals, again, like that understanding or illumination that helps you to see now, hindsight, right? Looking at September, that gets you to see more of who you are and what you're aligning to and what you want out of life. And so that big top of the mountain moment that then apexed with our full moon. And so what we're going to do is we're going to remember who we are, some of those things that were going on, and then we're going to pick our path based off of that energy, because whoever you were then and what you were thinking, what you were feeling, and what kind of decisions you were making is going to dictate what experiences you are going to have this October. And so I'm just going to give you the anchors for red and blue path. And again, those of you who have not been with me, I track out through the camera way back. I go up and down because that's where I have the red path energies, the 4 cards, and the blue path energies. I'll take a picture and put it here so you can see what I see when I'm looking through the camera. And so basically when I'm staring through you or doing things like this, excuse me, but I'm just trying to look at the symbolic images to get the understanding and the light coding of what's coming through. So we're going to start with blue path today. So, and these are very different paths. Sometimes we have very similar paths with just micro changes. These are extremely different paths. So for those of you, I know you because you text me, who say, I can't pick, I'm both paths. This month, if you can't pick, you really need to sit down, meditate, and then watch this again, because there should be very distinct differences for you and what you were experiencing last month. So blue path. Last month, September, would have been all about the wisdom, the understanding, the complete illumination over you, yourself, what you're bringing into your journey. Again, illumination, wisdom. This is the human accessing more of their purpose. I usually consider this energy like the Akashic record energy, which means you're tapping into what's the blueprint of your soul, right? It's getting more information, more illumination, more wisdom on why you, the human, are here, waking up every single day, doing what you do every single day, and then going to sleep and wanting to do it all over again the following day. So this is somebody who tapped in, who in September, it could be really extreme or it could be just a micro kind of influence of this, but in September got more awareness on who you are, what your purpose is here, and it's inspiring. And whether it's inspiring or not, it should have given you more understanding or validation over you, what you've been experiencing, why you've been making the choices you've been making, and what you want to do moving forward because of it. Wisdom is a very cognitive, a very mental energy that helps us to, again, it's validation is a great word here. It helps us to truly trust in these experiences that we've been having. So blue path, you will pick blue path moving forward and learn what your mastery for October is, what the new beginning and what the duality is going to bring for you. Because in September, you got more alignment or more validation over the path, the journey, the human experience, the choices you've been making, the reasons why you've been doing things. You should have gotten more awareness and more of that, again, conscious awareness as to who you are, what you are, why you're doing it, and all those good who, what, where, when, why, right? All of those little things should kind of have been ticked off, or at least been validated or fueled by the experiences you were having in September. So that is blue path. And blue path, if you want, you can go right to the end of this video. If you're like, that's me, I don't want to listen to red path, go right to the end of this video. This is just part one. At the completion of this video, 2 more videos will populate, which actually dive deep into the experience that you're going to have for this October. So move all the way to the end and click either red or blue path. Well, blue path, click blue path if you know that's where you are. But those of you who are questioning still, so let's get into it, because the next one is a shadow energy. So red path, the reason why you will pick red path is because in September, you were struggling. You were struggling. Where blue path had illumination, red path, you were struggling with it all. Quite like the messages I was talking about, where I had a resurgence of questioning exactly who I am and fighting it and having to strip back another layer. So red path, it's the shadow of the crown chakra, which the crown chakra is all about our high self. It's about our purpose. It's about creating that reality that reflects all of those things that are your non-physical, your spiritual journey, right? The intangible aspects of your divinity, right? That's crown chakra. And so when we have a shadow come up at the crown chakra, we are so attached. The crown chakra block is attachment. It's my way or the highway. It's what I know, not expanding to allow in for anything else. Again, when I told you about my experience, we like to label ourselves. We like to consciously understand what's going on in our journey instead of just completely being vulnerable and surrendering to how we're being guided and trusting in the ebbs and the flows of how we're being guided and making decisions based off of how the stream is moving us through the currents in the journey of life, right? And so sometimes we get so attached to our labels, to our understandings, to how we know ourselves to be, that we then end up becoming a very controlled experience instead of this expansive experience. And so red path, you will pick red path because things weren't fitting in. Again, I love this saying with energetics. It's like square peg, round hole. It's like things were not working. Things were not fitting. There was like an identity crisis. There was an attachment where you saw it one way, and yet things were trying to get you to see it in a different way. Attachment is attachment to an outcome. It's trying to force your vision instead of the divine vision, right? Your intention instead of the divine blueprint or the divine destiny of it all, right? This is holding on so tight that there's no room to grow or expand or to know thyself even more fully than we do. And so when we're in control of our destiny, we're missing so many opportunities. And that's again why I got my butt kicked right at the full moon, because I was holding on, thinking I knew. Shapeshifter, I know what this is all about. I know how I play in this reality. I know what's expected of me. Yet divine needed to crack me open and say, no, you don't. Like, let go, because there's more you need to learn at this level. And you're too focused on what you think you know that you're not allowing any of this other stuff to come in and teach you as you walk and continue to develop yourself as that shapeshifter that you like to label yourself as. And so this is where red path, you would have been attached to an outcome, attached to specific things that in essence, you were probably one of these people around the end of the month that got broken in some way, that find yourself questioning life, questioning yourself, questioning your choices, questioning, blocking, breaking, all of these things, right? Because again, when we hold on too tight to our constructs, we've got to be burned down, break down, dissolved. We've got to grieve. So maybe there was sadness, maybe there was a letting go, maybe there was a loss to get you to let go of what you think you know, so the bigger, greater, divine picture can come in. So very different paths, red and blue. And remember, if this is all you're going to listen to, because I know some people just like to tap into the monthly energy here. So if this is all you're going to listen to, then just know that blue path, make sure that you are programming, right? You had a great top of the mountain moment. And again, we're going to go into a slowdown here. So blue path, little teaser, it's going to be all about your voice, communicating, making sure you're articulating very clearly. So blue path, program things that get you to speak truthfully, that get you to live in your integrity and honestly, and your path will be one that rewards you this October. So program that. For red path, again, the attachment, letting go. So you, red path, there's a lot that you were holding on to, identified with, in attachment to. So as you program for October, it's about being vulnerable. It's about allowing yourself to be out of control. It's all about allowing yourself to let go of what you think you know, so that something even greater can come in. And so again, pick your path, red or blue. We're going to go deeply into now the mastery of each path. We're going to go into the activation of energy that happens right around the beginning of the month, and then talk about the duality or the big test that'll come in to make sure that you are living your mastery for the rest of this October. So with so much light and love, now is the time to click on either red or blue video and watch what specifically is aligning for you this month of October with so much light and love.